Lamb wants $32 million a year. $32 million a year, or he wants a trade, according to some sources. Now, I will start by saying this isn't Schefter or Rappaport confirmed. It's more along the lines of some smaller sources, if you will, but a lot of people reporting on it. I think most people regurgitating the one report, but we're here to talk about it. I've told you and warned you that we don't have a hardcore, concrete piece of clarification that Lamb actually is saying this. He might say you guys are running with anything. You'll make up anything. The media will make up anything. We don't know if that's this case, but we do know this is the number he's probably looking for. And it's more about guaranteed money than $32 million a year. I think people running the narrative that he wants a certain annual number more so than guaranteed money doesn't feel correct either. But I do believe we're in the ballpark of what's really going on. He does potentially want to trade if he doesn't get paid and respected. And Jerry doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Jerry isn't paying Dak. He isn't paying McCarthy. He isn't paying Parsons. He isn't paying Lamb. And it all starts with Dak because Dak's getting paid $50+ million this year. If you reconstruct Dak's contract, extend him, then you can get some of these other things done. So we're here to break down the failures of Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. We're here to talk about how Lamb's contract would absolutely affect Brandon Aiyuk's contract. If Lamb signs a deal this big before Aiyuk gets his contract, Aiyuk's not getting a deal. The Niners might even be looking at this going, we better jump on the current offer on the table, up it a little bit. You might see that get triggered because this guy is going to absolutely wipe out all the hopes and dreams of the Niners. Having Aiyuk back on a new contract, he'll be playing on his fifth-year option after he requests a trade. The Fantasy Football Show. Ceedee Lamb wants $32 million per year or a trade? Yeah, that show. It begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Okay, so we're live right now. as the kids are walking into the studio, we're live here. And basically, we're looking at a Ceedee Lamb requesting a trade or wanting cash money. He wants his $32 million per year. He wants a trade potentially if that doesn't go down. And the impact to Brandon Aiyuk is massive. Brandon Aiyuk is absolutely going to be off the table for the 49ers in terms of the expectation they have to pay Brandon Aiyuk. Brandon Aiyuk's going to want a certain amount of money or request a trade. That's what we're talking about here. Plain and simple. Where's our... There it is. I had the wrong screen up. Question is, if Lamb was to request a trade, would the Cowboys even entertain it? We don't know that. We also don't know if Jerry may sign Lamb and Dak before the next 2 weeks, and he may not re-sign either one of them. It's tough to really know what in the hell Jerry's thinking. Jerry gets up out of bed one day and might want to do one thing. Gets out of bed the next day, might want to do an entirely different thing. So at the end of the day, we're all guessing here. At the end of the day, this could go 100,000 different ways. At the end of the day, tomorrow is going to be potentially a different feeling Jerry's got than today. So we can speculate all we want. We don't know. All we know is what Jerry should be doing. They should be extending Dak, getting that extra money, bring Lamb in, probably have to address Parsons next year. I see a lot of people saying they can't afford Dak and Ceedee. That's not true. You're kicking a lot of this money downstream. You reconstruct Dak's contract, you're paying him $50+ million this year. You're going to open up money. Everybody's getting paid later on. There's the upfront money there's the way contracts work. This stuff's easy to do. If you could get rid of Dak's 55 or whatever the hell million he's getting paid this year. But this is a crazy situation. And at the end of the day, Ceedee Lamb needs Dak. Dak needs Ceedee Lamb. Now, if Lamb got traded, if we just entertain the hypothetical, he'd probably go to a team that really could use his services. He probably goes to a team that's going to throw a lot. He probably goes to a team like, I'm just throwing out teams like Green Bay, who would want to throw the hell out of the ball. Washington, who's shown some interest, and maybe they want to bring in somebody. They've got the cap space to do it. Teams like that. But at the end of the day, is Dak in this offense without any real threat of targets to consume from Ceedee Lamb? Is Dak and Lamb a better version of Ceedee Lamb fantasy-wise than any other situation? The answer is yes. There is no better situation. I know we all like train wrecks. We're all excited about the drama. We all want to see something crazy happen. But just like everybody wanted Penix Jr. in Minnesota, right? And Cousins to go to Atlanta or somewhere else, and that way we had potentially two opportunities. Cousins gets to revive Bijan, Lamb, and Kyle Pitts, and then Penix Jr. gets to go thrive in Minnesota. That didn't work out the way everybody wanted it. The grass seemed greener, and then the Minnesota Vikings took J.J. McCarthy, which, again, I know some of you still believe in him. That's fine. At the end of the day, he's still not going to produce, in my opinion, even if he's better than I think, enough to feed everybody in Minnesota. So it's a much lesser, watered-down situation. If Lamb goes somewhere else, he will be a lesser version of himself. I don't think there's a place he could go where he get the volume he's getting, which is a top 5 or 6 offense year in and year out. The volume he's getting is massive, okay? And then the second thing is that the rapport, the laser locking of target share is unmatched. You're not going to get that anywhere else you go. There's no way you're getting this anywhere. We're not replicating Ceedee Lamb and Dak Prescott. Dak is a top 2 to 6 quarterback in fantasy football year in and year out. He'll probably continue to dance around in there. I think he can finish 7 some years. He can finish 4. He can finish 8. He can finish 3. He's capable of all that from a fantasy football perspective. And there's no competition for targets. Ferguson's there. He'll do great, but that's a surplus of target share just sitting around, getting cobwebs on it. Lamb is in a high-octane offense. We don't want him elsewhere. I don't think there's a real chance that the Dallas Cowboys are letting Lamb go, though. You never know, though. Jerry might be completely off his rocker. But in a logical world, that's definitely the guy you're not letting slip away. It's just, this is why I think Dak gets signed. I think Dak gets signed to lead and pave the way to Ceedee to get his deal. I believe Ceedee can still get his money. Money can get moved around. Again, the way the contracts are drawn up, there's a lot pushed downstream, and there's upfront money that doesn't necessarily even count against the cap. It's hard to really understand what can even be maneuvered. And sometimes a reconstruction happens you don't even know is happening, and they free up enough money to get it done. We've seen quarterbacks, I think when Aaron Rodgers signed in New York, I believe they were over the cap by an extreme amount of money when the signing actually took place. It happens all the time. It's not something that can't be worked out. People act like they can't bring in Lamb and Dak. They 100% can. Bringing Lamb, Dak, and Parsons on new deals this year is harder to imagine. That's why I think Parsons gets taken care of next year. But keep in mind, the salary cap goes up about 22% every 2 years, 18 to 22%. So this is not a serious issue next season to get Parsons taken care of. But Parsons is probably pretty pissed. I don't know what's going to happen there. Dallas is in turmoil right now. Dallas is crapping the bed. Dallas didn't do what they needed to do in the offseason and take care of their running back room. This is an absolute mess, and we don't know how it's going to affect all the other pieces below it. T. Higgins, no shot at getting a contract unless he just folds and takes the lowest amount of money you could imagine. Aiyuk, consider his contract completely, if Lamb was assigned, consider his contract completely impossible for the 49ers. They got to bring in Brock Purdy. They got to take care of all that next year. They drafted a first-round rookie wide receiver in Ricky Pearsall, who they love and is going to be amazing. They've maybe got an opportunity to move Debo and then give Aiyuk the money, possibly. That could be an avenue because they could get rid of some money in terms of Debo's contract, save some money, then save some money this year by trading him at this point in the season, the offseason. They trade him, and then they bring in Aiyuk, and they sign Aiyuk to a big fat contract they never expected to. But they got rid of Debo, so now it makes sense. We'll give it to him. That's a possibility. But if this deal drops, then Aiyuk's value goes up. Probably one of the most, I would say, inaccurate statements and absolute laughable statements I hear. Just kind of buzzing around comment sections are, Smitty, Ceedee Lamb and JJ's contracts have nothing to do with Brandon Aiyuk. Brandon Aiyuk can't get that money. That's Smitty doesn't know. Aiyuk's not going to get Lamb money. It's totally irrelevant, Smitty. That's some of the most wild stuff. The most, I don't know, ball type commentary. If anybody said that in the chat, I apologize for saying that about you. But you don't know contracts, you don't know ball, you don't know off-season football. Everything is tied together. It's a spider web from the top down. The web is cast over all the players. Everybody's connected. And when something happens, everybody gets pulled up. Jared Goff's money indirectly affected Aiyuk's guaranteed money. JJ's money absolutely, not indirectly, directly affects Aiyuk's guaranteed money. It's all 1,000% connected in an interweb of contracts, all stuck together and have touch points together, and it all gets dragged up together. All of it, the quarterbacks, the tight ends, the running backs, everybody's guaranteed money is connected. And that also means that if two wide receivers came in and signed lower amounts of money, they could almost reset the market slightly. The stock market, if anybody doesn't know how the stock market works, the price of a stock is the last purchase price that anybody bought it for. So if Apple's going for $998, and if somebody comes in and buys it for $999, that's the new stock price. The last price of purchase is the stock price. And so that's how it fluctuates and goes up and down. Same thing with contracts to a degree. Sometimes one contract, one bad high or low contract doesn't necessarily completely reset the market. Deshaun Watson, case in point, signed that absolutely brutal contract, and nobody wanted to play ball with that. No owners wanted to play ball with a $230 million fully guaranteed. So they tried and they tried and they tried, and they got it reset a little bit. They were able to calm the quarterback market down a little bit. Now it's out of control again. Wide receivers, one bad wide receiver signing could alter Aiyuk's deal a little bit. We saw that happen when, who was it that signed that deal? I think it was Nico. Nico came in with a really low, it was like a 50-something million guarantee. Ziggy, what was Nico Collins' contract? Let's see if he knows.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Ziggy, what is Nico Collins' contract? You son of a...
I don't have an answer for that.
Damn it, Ziggy! Nico Collins' new contract. It was $72 million.
Today.com.
Ziggy off. $72 million, 52 point. Actually, no, on a 3-year deal, that's still really solid. 52 million guaranteed, 3 years, 72 million. It's still solid, but that felt like maybe it was going to go back in the other direction. And then, because it's $24 million a year. But then what happens? Waddle gets his $76 million guaranteed. What happens? St. Brown gets his $77 million guaranteed. And so at the end of the day, it got reset back to high because of Waddle and St. Brown, whereas Nico almost reset the market slightly for Brandon Aiyuk and lowered his expectation because, let's be honest, Nico and Aiyuk deserve the same money. Aiyuk doesn't deserve St. Brown money. Waddle doesn't deserve St. Brown money. Waddle deserves Nico and Aiyuk money, and Waddle got St. Brown money. So that throws a monkey wrench into everything. And on and on and on and on we go. So let's open the phone lines and discuss this. Look, what's the value? Okay, so value of Lamb. I don't think Lamb's value should take a hit. I'm more than willing to risk the biscuit on drafting this guy at his current ADP. I do hope that his ADP does drop significantly. I hope he's not. And significantly in the top 5 would be, him dropping from 1 or 2 to like 3 or 4. And that would be a significant drop. It might not feel that way. It's only a couple of spots. But when you're talking about inside the first round, that's a big percentage of movement inside round 1. So Lamb dropping a couple of spots because people are afraid he's going to get traded or hold out. So if anybody doesn't know, there's not just news of Lamb Chops wanting a trade, he's holding out. So he's expected to hold out if he doesn't get his contract. He's also expected to request a trade if he doesn't get $32 million annually a year. And I imagine that includes exactly what JJ got, if not more. JJ got $110 million guaranteed. Nico, I just told you, 50-something million dollars guaranteed. What was it, 50? Let me put Nico's contract up here. Nico's contract's not bad. It's like it really is a solid deal. Problem is everybody else is getting massively better deals, insanely crazy deals. Nico's deal was this. Nico signed a 3-year, $72 million contract with the Houston Texans, including $17 million signing bonus, $52 million guaranteed. What's crazy about this is Lamb's going to get more than double of what Nico gets guaranteed. So JJ got double of what Nico got guaranteed. Lamb's going to get double. Aiyuk's not wanting $50 million anymore. Aiyuk wants nowhere near 50. Aiyuk's not taking less than 70. And if Lamb gets maybe 115 or 112 guaranteed, I don't think it'll go 115. You never know. I think 110 to JJ, maybe 111 to 112 guaranteed for Lamb, just to one-up JJ. And he gets the volume to deserve it. JJ's no longer, right now, getting the volume to outdo Lamb contract-wise, to be honest with you. So, but do I feel threatened and scared? Am I a scared Scotty of drafting Ceedee Lamb? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not. You know why? Because your boy... phone lines, I'll open the phone lines in 1 second. Let me close this real quick. Your boy is still deploying the Matrix with Ceedee Lamb. Your boy is still deploying the Matrix with Jamar Chase. Your boy is still deploying the Matrix with Tyreek Hill. Oh my God, Smitty, what is this Matrix you speak of? Well, I'm glad you asked, Bob, because we do have a new video. I give you the Matrix, ladies and gentlemen.
Matrix activated.
The Matrix is drafting Chase, Lamb, or Hill in round 1. The chain.
Matrix activated.
The Matrix is drafting Chase, Lamb, or Hill in round 1. The chain and Kyren specifically in rounds 2 and 3.
Yes.
Then Mahomes or Hurts, and of course Allen if he fell in round 4. In round 5. McBride or Kincaid.
The Matrix, the best draft strategy in the entire Milky Way galaxy.
Unload the Matrix upon your league.
Game over. You deploy the Matrix and it's over. And Lamb's not dropping out of the Matrix. You think I'm scared of drafting Ceedee Lamb? You think I'm going to run away from this news? It's definitely news. It's definitely something to worry about. His long-term value is something to be a tiny bit concerned about if he doesn't have Dak Prescott. Just again, think about Minnesota and JJ. Think about how JJ is the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL, yet he goes number 6 overall, 7 overall. I've seen him go 8 overall in recent drafts. There's no way we want Ceedee Lamb without Dak Prescott. Whether it's trading him out because Lamb goes, look, you're not going to bring back Dak. I don't want to sign a mega deal with you guys. Who's throwing me the ball? How am I going to get my next contract? How am I going to be worth my money and get my endorsement deals to the max and take care of myself, feed my family? And after my $111 million guaranteed deal, how am I supposed to feed my family after this contract's over? With my lavish lifestyle, I'll have 8 Lamborghinis. I'm gonna have to cut back to 5. I might have to sell 3 of my Lambos. So Lamb's gonna be very much looking out for his best interest. He wants Dak. Dak's going to be part of his negotiation. I don't blame him for wanting out. And just to clarify, is there a place he could go where he's more valuable? I suppose there's some place that could, I see some of you saying Arizona. I don't think Arizona, he's going to be more valuable. There's no way. They've got enough mouths to feed. They got McBride, they got MHJ. Why would you want him in Arizona? That would ruin everybody's value. Green Bay, I mean that he's not going to get ruined by the receivers surrounding him in Green Bay. The other receivers would take a nutsack kick in value, but he would be fine in Green Bay. But it's not better than Dallas. It's not. Look, Dak is only throwing to Ceedee Lamb. Jordan Love is a proven spread it out type of passer. Maybe he'd change if he had Lamb, but you don't want that. That's not an upgrade. It's just not. Washington, as much as I love it, it would be fun to watch it. He's not going to catch more footballs in Washington than he would with laser locking Dak Prescott. So everybody in the NFC, I don't see a single scenario where he goes up in value. And if they decide to trade him over to the AFC anyway, if this hypothetically went this way, I don't think he's getting traded. Denver? Hell no. KC? No, it doesn't work that way in KC. But like, would he be good there? Absolutely, he'd be good there. And he would dominate all the surrounding wide receivers, and Kelsey's dropping off a little bit. So, I mean, yeah, that would be an exciting place. We definitely have our eyes, peeled and glued to the screen. Every KC game, we'd be wondering what in the hell. He'd be great there. Like, there's no doubt. But is he better in Dallas with no surrounding, threat to target share? Yes, he is. But KC would be very interesting. I don't think they'll do it, though. They don't. Ever since they got rid of Tyreek Hill, they've been succeeding. I don't know. They may look at it, but I don't think they're wanting to pay that kind of money. So it's probably not an option, even if we wanted to kick it around. Chargers ain't doing that. They got rid of Keenan Allen because he cost too much. They didn't want to he comes off one of his best seasons. You want to work for free? You don't want to work for free? Get out of here. Mike Williams, you want to work for? Get out of here. Eckler, you want to take 10,000 carries and work for free? You don't want to? Get out of here. You think the Chargers are coming after Ceedee Lamb? Hell no, they aren't. The Jets, I mean, I don't think they're going to. The Steelers, I hope not. I don't think that's the best scenario for him. Lamb is going to be good there, but he's not going to be as good as he is in Dallas, where he has no target share. It's a proven top 6 offense is launching the football. Joe Burrow and the boys, I mean, we've heard a lot of Justin Jefferson rumors. It will be crazy. I don't know how that would go, but is it better than a solo gig in Dallas in a top 6 offense? No. Baltimore, Lamar's never supported a top 25 wide receiver. Why would we want him to go there? I don't care what we think we could expect out of Lamar. We know what he's done. It's never produced a top 25 wide receiver. The only scenario at all on this side of the board that makes any sense whatsoever in terms of being comparable would be the Buffalo Bills, and then maybe the KC Chiefs. And then over on this side of the world, there really is nothing but Green Bay that screams out in Washington, but those aren't better. Buffalo and Dallas, those could be definitely thought to be equivalents. That's it. The Broncos, hell no. John, what's wrong with you? The Broncos?
Get lambed.
The Broncos? Come on, John. The Broncos. The Patriots? No. I know you want that. But, bro, that'd be awful. The Patriots. They're not going to be able to support Ceedee Lamb. All right, so we haven't decided. If Lamb was to go, it needs to be the Buffalo Bills, the KC Chiefs, the Green Bay Packers, the Washington Commanders. That's about it. The Steelers are like last on that list. That's about it. That's the only place I want Ceedee Lamb to go. And I don't even want half of those. The only one I would want would be Josh Allen. But is it better than Dak Prescott, rapport, top six passing attack? I don't know. I don't think so. I think Buffalo is really, really good second place. I think KC's a decent third. I just don't know if we know what to expect. These super chats, then I'll open the phone lines. This one right here from Rush. Rush, appreciate you dropping the $2 hauler. No message attached, but I appreciate you. Home Sweet Home says Superfish. It is nice to be back in the studio. Justin, appreciate you. Smitty, I have sinned. I have drafted the overvalued Sam Laporta at 30th ADP on Underdog, but for good cause. I have Gibbs, who fell to 19. St. Brown and Laporta all on a 12-team Underdog draft. Justin, I don't mind that. You got to try out a bunch of different things, bro. You got to try. I would say that Gibbs doesn't necessarily make me go Sam Laporta, though. Those are kind of not parallel stacks that are necessity, but I know you wanted to rule Detroit. They have a huge game, and it's a solid. And Detroit plays. Who do they play in week 17? We got it right here. Detroit plays. I'm blanking. Detroit plays. San Francisco. Oof. I don't know, bro. I mean, it could be a nice game, nice scoring game, I suppose. Could be a good defensive game by San Fran, or a complete back and forth, rematch, where it's like it's possible. So I don't know if I'd say that's my favorite matchup out of the gate, but I'd say that could turn into one. I mean, certainly could. Depends how this defense transforms, or in a positive or a negative direction. Getting rid of their defensive coordinator, everybody thinks it's a great idea, but how did they replace him? How is it looking? I don't know. Anyway, appreciate your super chat, Justin. I don't mind that at all. You got to roll with the moonshot for the $10 hauler, my broski. You got to take your chances, bro. You got to do different things. So I like that. Just do it live. It's one draft. No big deal. Hey, Smitty, getting Hall, Rome, and Allen for Gibbs, Monty, and Ladd. Hall, Romadunze, and Keenan Allen for Monty, Ladd, and Gibbs. Yeah, I take the Romadunze side, but I hate getting rid of Gibbs, man. I hate it. Like, getting rid of Hall or getting rid of Gibbs, I don't care what you're getting. And I know you're getting one of them back, but it's just such a nut kick. Superfish with a $10 hauler, then open phone lines. Superfish, appreciate you dropping the super chat. Waddle was the number one wide receiver before Tyreek got there and will be the number one after Tyreek is gone. Waddle was the number one wide receiver before Tyreek got there and will be the number one. Okay, I'm just making sure I'm reading that right, that you're not saying he's the number one there now. Okay, his contract won't kick in until next year. We'll see. Tyreek's still there. Waddle does deserve his money. Superfish coming to bat for Waddle, which I appreciate. Superfish is a big Dolphins fan, and I wouldn't expect any different, and I respect the loyalty. David with a super chat, $20 holler. David, they call him $20 Davey. $20 Davey coming in with a wad.
Alert. Super chat alert.
$20 David says, I'm in one QB full PPR dynasty. I got offered Franklin Swift and Braylon Allen for my 26th first rounder. Franklin Swift and Braylon. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. It's definitely like you're getting pretty good value, but is any one of these guys a first rounder? You threw Swift in a rookie startup, I wouldn't take him in the first round. I'd take him in the second. Would I take Franklin in the first round? No. I'd take him in the second. Would I take Braylon Allen at 3.1, 3.4, 2.12? Yeah. So you're getting a bunch of seconds or maybe a third and 2 second round players. I think you can get more for a 26 first rounder, but it is far out there. But I'm using that to upgrade my running back into Kyron. I'm using that to upgrade my running back into Achane. I'm using that to upgrade my quarterback into Mahomes. I'm using that to upgrade my tight end into Kincaid or into McBride or something like that. That's how I would use that. So I'm going to say negative from me, but it doesn't mean it's a horrible trade. It doesn't tickle my fancy, bro. That's all I'm going to say. Phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Okay. Phone lines are open now. Well, they're loading. Just 1 second. They should be open any second here. All right, now they're cleared. So dial in if you got any questions. But anyway, to recap all of this, I think we got like 200 people in the building right now. How many? We got 47 from X. We got 175 from YouTube. Again, if you're watching from Twitter right now, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel because we might not always go live on Twitter this season. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to just make it YouTube only. So hang tight. Sell Lamb, prepare for future, says Zach. I don't know that I would go there yet. I think that it depends what you can get. Would I sell anybody? Yeah. Would I sell high on anybody? Sure. But are we positive, my guy? Are we positive that Ceedee Lamb and Dak aren't going to be reunited on new contracts right where they are right now? Staying put for 2025 and beyond? I mean, I think we're assuming that this isn't going to go well, and I think Jerry's going to get scared. And Jerry's going to give Dak what he wants. I don't know if Dak truly wants to go test the market after playing through a full year. I think he will. But do I think it's his first choice? No. I think he wants to get his money. I think he wants to get it out of the way. I don't think he wants to go anywhere. I think he loves Ceedee Lamb. Ceedee Lamb helped make his career. Dak helped make Ceedee Lamb's career. They need each other. They want each other. But sometimes these players get it in their head that the other player didn't make them or help make them. And they can go do it elsewhere. A lot of times it's the diva wide receiver mentality, though. Like Lamb might want that. But Dak, I bet you're smart enough to go, I kind of need Ceedee Lamb. He makes me look good. I make him look good. We're in a top 6 offense year in and year out. If I was Lamb, though, I'd go get Dak done, get McCarthy extended, and then bring me back. And while many people will say they don't like McCarthy, be careful what you wish for. This is a top 6 offense every single year. This is a top 6 arsenal. I don't care if you hate McCarthy, you think he can't win the big game. You shouldn't concern yourself with that. All you should care about is that McCarthy gets it done. He scores fantasy points. The offense is top 6. You want McCarthy, you want Dak, you want Ceedee Lamb. You want it all buttoned up together. Ferguson, do it live. We want it all. We want it all. All right, dial in. I reset the phone lines one more time. I'm watching on both, says Snowman. I don't know what that means. Watching on both. What, TV and your phone? Snowman? What are we talking about? Sebastian, you're live.
What's up, Smitty? I just want to say I think Lamb does stay a Cowboy. But I think it does require an extension from Dak. If not, I just expect Lamb to hit free agency next year and see what he can get. But I was predicting about 32 mil.
They can't let.
A year for this.
They're not letting Dak go, bro. There's almost zero chance Lamb just hits free agency. There's no chance.
It's Jerry though.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, we don't know where Jerry's headed.
Bro, you can't let a guy like Ceedee Lamb just hit free agency. You would trade him.
This is a guy that wants Ezekiel Elliott as a starting running back.
I know, but there's no way. I'm just telling you, there's zero chance someone lets Ceedee Lamb go. They would, if they were wanting to do a facelift on this whole thing, there would be some sort of trade. There's no way you let him go. There's zero chance.
Yeah, it would be stupid.
But Dak, he is willing to let go, and there's complexities to Dak's situation. You can't franchise tag him. You can't trade him unless he approves it because he has a no-trade clause. So Dak is absolutely dialed in to hit free agency. So it's a totally different situation. But Ceedee Lamb, you can't. Ceedee Lamb is 100% going to be back with the Cowboys, or he does potentially get traded. But that's it. He's on right now. He's on what's his cap hit? 17.9. What's his dead cap? 17.9. So 17.9. He'll get tagged, and then they'll tag and trade him. Lamb will be easy to tag and trade. You know who wouldn't be as easy to tag and trade? Brandon Aiyuk. If Brandon Aiyuk has a good year, but not absolutely just ball-busting, jaw-dropping, marvelous, unreal top 7 wide receiver season, if he just has like a 10 to 15 type wide receiver year, call it 11 to 15, you can't tag Aiyuk. You tag Aiyuk, you're tagging him at what will probably be about $28 million. And no one's going to trade for him. They're going to be like, I don't know if I can sign this guy to a long-term deal. I think, and the Niners don't usually tag like that. So I think the Niners are screwed if they, like everyone keeps saying, Smitty, he's under contract. Aiyuk has no control here. What world do you live in? Of course he has some control. Does he have the most control? No. The Niners have the most control, but he has a lot of control. He makes a beef. He makes a stink. He's causing disruption. The rapport's not being there, built with him and his quarterback. They're trying to get this offense to jive. It's the Niners' fault because they should have signed. Aiyuk would have accepted a deal that was so far below what the Niners are currently offering had they just offered it earlier. It's the Niners' fault. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, Aiyuk's being a baby. He's holding out. He wants all this money. He wants all this money because he's watched the market grow right in front of him. And everybody's saying the Niners have been working on all offseason long. They may have had talks with him, preliminary talks about where they want to maybe be, and they might have been close, but they didn't ink it because they wait until later to actually execute the contract. These Niner fans are absolutely off the rocker. I don't care what the Niners are saying.
Prediction on Aiyuk?
You what?
So can I make a prediction on what they're going to do with Aiyuk?
Go ahead.
I think that he either I think he stays under contract this year. They make him happy enough to bring him in for at least the start of the season, but I could see him getting traded mid-season. I mean, Christian McCaffrey's 28. He can go down at any moment. George Kittle, he has his weight concerns. Debo, a lot of mileage.
Okay, so let me tell you.
I could see a world where he is productive in the first half of the season, and he does get traded on the high.
Yeah,
like
he could be. He could be, but here's where the problem is. If you're the Niners, you think you've got all this control, and you think you have this. Everyone, all the Niner fans like he could get franchise tag. He's not going to get franchise tagged unless he balls the hell out. You also just drafted Ricky Pearsall in round 1, and you think you're going to not focus on getting him involved and getting him versed for 2025? You think you're just going to let him sit cold turkey on the bench and just sit there and just let Aiyuk thrive, and then you're just going to want to trade him after he's this glorious wide receiver? If Aiyuk balls the hell out, that means the Niners are literally feeding this guy with a shovel, just spoon feeding him targets. And if they felt that way, they'd extend him because they say, we're going to need this guy. So I don't think Niner fans understand how much power all sides have here, because Aiyuk is disrupting. His next move is going to be to request a trade. This talk right here is going to, look, this is just whispering. This is contract whispering. Ceedee Lamb's a contract whisperer. He's going 32. You know what's happening to Aiyuk? Aiyuk's getting all excited. I just heard him say 32 million. You know what I want? 30. I'm not bowing down to 29.5. I was gonna, but now I want 30. I want 30. You can't pay Aiyuk 30. I'm not saying Aiyuk is thinking with his head right now. I'm not saying Aiyuk isn't overvaluing himself. He 100% is overvaluing himself right now. 100%. 100%, but it doesn't matter because he got to this point because the Niners sat on their hands. And don't say they didn't. They've been working on a deal. They talk about it, but they don't do it. They never do it. They'll talk about it, but they'll never execute on anything until later. We'll see if that changes with Brock. If it doesn't, I'm going to laugh my ass off the entire offseason as Brock goes, oh, his value soars and soars and soars. And he's just going to get more expensive. And everybody's going to go, they were trying to work out a deal. They weren't trying to work out a deal. They were trying to keep him happy, appease him. Yeah, we're looking at, we'll meet you back here next month. We'll see him in July and August, right? Right? They don't sign their players early. They've already made it clear we take care of our guys later in July and August. Doesn't matter how close they got. That's the problem. They got close. They sat on their hands. And then they ended up losing Aiyuk to this whole mind game now, where Aiyuk wants more and more and more and more and more money. And he's going to want more and more money. This little whisper of $32 million is going to make Aiyuk's value go up. Just the mere thought, mention of this high dollar amount now makes Aiyuk go, shit, I might as well wait. Tyreek Hill was about to put ink to paper and sign his new fat contract with the KC Chiefs. And right before he touched down with that pen to paper, news broke. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. And he looks over and he sees breaking news. Devontae Adams signs mega contract. And Tyreek Hill said, no, I don't. I want more money now. And that's when he got traded. The Chiefs said, oh my God, we just met your every demand. Now you're asking us for more money? He said, today's price is not yesterday's price. And they're like, we just offered it to you. He's okay. Last minute's price is not this minute's price. That's how Tyreek Hill played it. And he got traded out. He had power because they got tired of it. And Aiyuk is probably going to drag this thing out even further. He seems very content in his stance. He doesn't seem like he's bluffing. He seems very much like, if you don't give me, and then you heard the rumor that he's going to, sit down one more time. And if they don't want the Lamborghini, if they can't afford the Lamborghini, they can't have the Lamborghini, is what the most recent quote was. You wouldn't know that because Niner pages everywhere, they keep using the one small part of that TMZ interview where he's like, where are you going to be? Where are you going to be? The TMZ reporter was badgering him, like nearly harassing him for an answer. He's like, is it San Francisco? And the TMZ guy was clearly a Niner fan, because he kept talking about, all the fans, so they don't have anything to worry about, all this fake news about, like, he's just like insinuating, leading questions, trying to get Aiyuk to say he's staying. And all the Niner fans everywhere were like, you hear the TMZ interview? The interview when the guy was harassing Aiyuk on the sidewalk, and he goes, you want to be a Niner? He's like, sure. You can't even tell if he says for sure. He says, for sure. And everyone's like, he said for sure, 100%. I want to stay 1,000%. Everybody just quoting the hell out of this when the whole time he's walking in the other interviews, you can't afford a Lamborghini, you won't get a Lamborghini. Like, this is wild to me. Wild to me. Everyone's like, done deal. It's done deal. He signed. He said for sure. You get out of here. This is going to be crazy. This is going to get wild. Dial into the phone line.
Live from the Fantasy Football Show.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Call into the show brought to you by theattic.shop. Dial in. Presented by theattic.shop. The phone line is. Go get your movie, your amazing movie apparel, your hoodies, your t-shirts straight from the attic. Okay? Godzilla, King Kong, the Beast, Spider, Reptilicus, all this stuff. Vintage movie tees and hoodies. The best apparel company on the planet, theattic.shop. Go check them out. As far as Ceedee Lamb, again, Sebastian, I know you think there's a shot he walks. I'm telling you, there's zero chance he walks. There's zero chance he walks. There's no way you can. That's like saying, hey, take this for free off my hands, when somebody's like, but that guy next to you would buy it for a couple first round picks. No, go ahead. You can have it.
Didn't Odell do that though? Back in the day?
This isn't Odell though, bro. Even if that, I forget how that even played out. But this is the number one wide receiver in the league right now. This is the number one. You don't just let him walk. You trade him. Doesn't matter what's happened in history with another player or injury-prone player or whatever. We're talking about Ceedee motherfreaking Lamb. Like, you're tagging him and trading him. And even if Jerry's like wild off his rocker, someone's stepping in and saying, we're gonna have to have a conversation about this, Jerry. Maybe he blows him off or whatever, but this would be the biggest debacle. There'd be people calling for him to be absolutely removed from the equation if there's somehow, some way this team let him walk. There'd be so much buzz about it too. It would never ever happen. There'd be too much negativity around it. There's no way. There's zero chance. The question you got to ask yourself is, if Jerry's truly not wanting to re-sign anybody, he wants to do a total blow up of this thing, which we've heard people say, but does blow up mean quarterback? Like everything but Lamb. You know, everything but Lamb and probably Parsons, but everything but Lamb. Would you blow the whole thing up? Maybe he would, but it's not going to be without Lamb. This is clearly the best wide receiver, one of the best wide receivers in the league. He's top 2 or 3, you could say. JJ, we might want JJ to be, but he's not right now. He's just not. He can't be because he's unarmed. He's got an 80% ability to produce, just like when I say Herbert's a top 5 or 6 QB, trapped in a situation that will never allow him to be a top 5 or 6 QB. So JJ's doesn't have quite the limiter on his ability and potential and his output, but it's still significant. He's at like 80% capacity. He's got an 80% full gas tank. His gas pedal can go down 80%. He can't go any faster than that, even though he wants to. Ceedee Lamb is up there in the top 2 or 3 wide receivers. Jamar Chase, Ceedee Lamb. Right now, Tyreek Hill, but that will change in the coming years. Marvin Harrison Jr., St. Brown. A.J. Brown for now, that will also drop off a little bit. Puka Nakua's right behind those guys, as is Garrett Wilson, right behind. But we're talking about the upper echelon. It is Ceedee Lamb, Jamar Chase, and still currently Tyreek Hill, and that's it. Those are the upper echelon wide receivers. Everybody else is grabbing onto that tier, trying to climb up, or JJ's case, he was there, but he got kicked out for a little bit. He's got he can walk right back in if JJ McCarthy turns out to be way better than I ever expected. But right now, he's not in that top echelon. He's just not. I mean, you would sign him there because you know how good he's going to be, but he's not going to produce like Lamb. He's not going to produce like Hill will for as long as Hill will produce. But, Jamar Chase as well. Chase and Lamb are really, and Marvin Harrison Jr. soon are really the top 3 guys. But this will be crazy. It's crazy. It's wild that we're even here. It's wild that we got 2 teams. We got 2 teams sitting here. 2 teams sitting here inside the NFC that don't know how to take care of their players in the offseason. Some might say the Niners always do. They're paying the highest contracts to this guy in this position. I get that, but there's still absolute evidence that they drag this thing out and put Debo and put Bosa in vulnerable positions where they're holding out, they're not ready to come back, and then they have a bad season. You can call it taking care of them if you want, but to me, I don't think they do it at the right time, which puts their players in a vulnerable position. Aiyuk, this is nonsense. This should never have happened. Debo, that holdout should have never have happened. It's just an ongoing thing. So the Niners need to step up and do what they got to do, whether it's trade Aiyuk or not. The Dallas Cowboys, what in the hell are they going to do? I don't know. But they need to step up and take care of it. Dak is the first piece of this because it frees up so much money. You're going to free up so much money this year, not to mention a lot of times these extensions, no matter what, are going to free up money. You save money by extending a player because you're kicking all of that contract downstream. And you're making it very affordable at the front end. That's why Patrick Mahomes' contract, when Mahomes signed his 10-year, I don't know if anybody remembers, he signed a 10-year deal.
10-year, $500.
10-year, $500 million deal, and everyone said, oh my God, the Chiefs will never win again. The Chiefs will never build an offensive line. Their offensive line need to work too. They'll never sign another player. But those people were they were unaware Ungers. They had no idea what goes on with contracts. They had no real knowledge of ball. This was a contract that was the most friendly contract to a team ever made because he didn't get paid till way later in the contract. We're talking like year 4 or 5. He didn't receive. He got a bunch of money up front, but that doesn't count. His actual, I'll bring it up. His actual contract was so easy to work around for years. They rebuilt the offensive line the very next year. They've done everything they've done, won championships. It hasn't even affected them. And by the time they get downstream to this number, it's not even that big anymore because of the 20% increase every 2 years. The Chiefs are playing 8D chess just like the Eagles have been playing all offseason. But it was absolutely funny how people did not understand that contract at all. And that you can... And then what happens on a 10-year deal is it gives you the ability to reconstruct the deal constantly because you have so many years to push it downstream. A 2 and 3 year deal, you have no maneuverability in a contract to really move it, extend it, and kick the can down the road. Kind of think of it like when you're upside down on a car. it's hard to maneuver that next vehicle, and that payment gets hit hard. If you had this long term, you could absolutely, refinance it and stretch it out over 10 years, and therefore it it's obviously you're going to be paying a long time on it, but it can help you right now with your current bills. That's the way Mahomes' deal is structured. It was so funny how many people thought that the Chiefs were done. They were toast. They were cooked. Look at this deal by Mahomes. This is a wild contract when you look at it. It's absolutely crazy. Let me see if I can screenshot this and put it on the screen. It is absolutely wild. It's like one of the craziest deals. We still haven't seen anything quite like it. Deshaun Watson's deal was very, very wild as well, but in a bad way. This one was just so amazing for this team. Look at his base salary in 2020. His base salary in 2020 was $825,000. His base salary in 2021, his second year, was $990,000. He got $1.5 million only, which is great for the average Joe, but in his third year. His fourth year, $1.3 million only. In 2024, this year, $9.8 million. Now, granted, you see the signing bonus column, he's getting a bunch of money, the roster bonuses. He's obviously getting paid. He also got the upfront, signing bonus of $4.5 million. But where he starts to get paid is next year. In 2025, $16.6 million. 2026 is where it really kicks in. $45 million. 2027, $45 million. 2028, $17 million, $8 million, $30 million. So that, just so people are aware how these contracts work, you look at this deal. Signing Mahomes to this $500 million deal saved them so much money for years. And yet people were like, oh, they'll never win again. Oh my God, $500 million. So Aiyuk, you could sign him to a deal and it doesn't hamper you this year. Dak Prescott, you're saving money. You're paying Dak $55-something million this year. Like you reconstruct Dak, you're opening up money for Ceedee Lamb. And so it's just wild. Wild convo for sure. All right, Sebastian, anything else, bro?
Yeah, I actually got a management and contract operations question for you. I know you have a lot of connections to the Niners. For how good of a team they are, scouting, picking up talent, coaching in games and everything, why do they always I'm sure ownership would have caught on by now because they're all finance guys. Why do they allow these things to happen where they're putting these players in these positions, overpaying for them when it's time to come? Because
I don't know.
They run everything else so well, but why do they always get this wrong?
You talk to a Niner fan and they'll say they do run it well. You talk to John Lynch and he'll say we always pay our players. We take care of our players. And there's some truth in that. The Niners have positionally some of the highest paid players, and they usually do end up taking care of them, but at what cost? It's kind of like my example of buying a house. If in January you were told by a real estate agent or your lender that the house you want is going to be worth double in August, but it's January, are you sure you're buying it? And you say, I'm 100%, 110% sure I will buy a house. Why would you not buy it then? And the answer the Niners have is it's the Niner way. And so what people are going to say, they take care of people, they cost themselves money. That puts the team in jeopardy of later on running out of the ability to use all the money that you just forget that they've wasted. It's like wasting. It's like how much waste is there? At the end of it, you don't know because it's such a slow, evolving thing. But if you just signed Aiyuk to his asking price, what he wanted when Ridley signed his deal. Yeah, Ridley signed, let me pull up Ridley's contract because this is where it all began. Calvin Ridley contract. This is where it all began. $92 million, 4 years, $92 million, $50 million guaranteed. This is where, and this number sounded high at the time. It sounded like, okay, we know Lamb and Chase are probably going to get more than this. Do you remember what I think everybody was kicking around? $70 million guaranteed for Lamb and Jamar Chase and JJ. This contract right here, because everything's incremental, $50 million guaranteed, felt like Lamb, Chase, those guys would be getting 70, maybe 80. maybe 90. Like some people would throw those wild numbers out. You're like, I don't know about that. And when someone actually said 30 million a year annually, everyone's like, no, get out of here. It was a wild take back when Ridley signed his contract. If you went to Aiyuk and said, hey, this guy just signed $92 million, 4-year deal, $20 million signing bonus, $50 million guaranteed, average salary of 23. We want to give you this. You know what he would have said and probably did? I want not 50, I want 58. And not 23, I want 24.5. No, 25. 25. Final offer, 25 million guaranteed, or 25 million annually, 58 million guaranteed. We got him. We got him, pals. We
Got him.
You know that's how the conversation would have went. So for anybody to say, oh, the Niners do great in the offseason, they take care of the guys, they're wasting money. They're wasting. You have no argument. No Niner fan has one single argument against what I just said. You're wasting money if you always take care of your guys. And John said, we brought Debo in, we said we would. We brought Bosa in, we said we would. We brought him back and signed a new extension with both of them. If you do truly know you want to sign Aiyuk, what in the hell are you doing? It makes zero sense. There's no argument. There's no argument.
Between all those big name players, if they signed them earlier, they would be able to afford one more big name star at a full 20 plus million a year.
It's crazy to me. It's what's even wilder is people think I'm a Niner hater. I'm not a Niner hater at all. I talk up Ricky Pearsall every chance I get. I love Isaac Guerrero. I talk up Debo every year. Debo's a moon man last year. I forget, is Debo
The Moon Man.
Is he on this list this year? No, I almost feel like he should be. I feel like he should be a moon man. Is he on the Mars man list?
He's on a shuttle to Mars.
No, I don't have Debo. I really think Debo is going to have a good year, especially because Aiyuk, at this rate, Aiyuk's going to have a bad year because of what happens with this thing. You hold out, you have a bad year. Debo held out. Yeah, they signed him. I love when a Niner fan comes in, first of all, accusing me of being a Niner hater. I'm far from a Niner hater. I'm a Kyle Shanahan doubter. That's what it is. That's all it is. That's all it's ever been. I absolutely support the Niner fans. I support the Niner players more than the Niner fan base does. Because I was here for Debo, knowing the fan base would turn on him and be nasty toward him. And I was here defending him. Just like I predicted to a T this entire Aiyuk situation. And what did I say months ago? All the Niner fans are going to turn on Aiyuk. No, they love Aiyuk. This is different. Debo was being a diva. I told you. The Niner fans would turn on Aiyuk, and you go in any comment section, it's kick rocks, let him leave, $30 million, what a diva, when it's not his fault. The market's climbed up. It's Kyle's fault. It always is. And just because he's a savant offensive coordinator, everybody thinks everything's going to be okay. And Smitty, if he's that bad of a coach, why are they in the Super Bowl? Why are they in the championship games? Why do they keep making it? Because he's an awesome offensive coordinator. Have you won? Does he drop the ball? Did you absolutely practically crap the bed in 3 straight playoff games last year? Yes. Green Bay, Detroit. It was one after the other. That Green Bay game was pathetic. That Detroit Lion game, I don't know how they won that game. You knew it was happening when it was unraveling, but it was unbelievable. All right, Sebastian, got to go. I'll be back at 8 p.m.
I'll catch you later, all right?
All right, guys. Appreciate all of you. Got one more super chat here from Justin. Waddle's been banged up lately, and Tua is a risk. But if Hill takes any type of step back from turning 30, Jalen might be a 1,300 to 1,500 yard player this year. I'm not saying I hate Jalen Waddle. I'm not a Waddle doubter. I'm just not on the same page as everybody. I like him a lot, but he very much reminds me of T. Higgins. You know, he's better than T. Higgins. I'll give you that. But you're banking on an injury to what? Get you your second round value back? Why draft Waddle in round 2? He's going to round 2. If you want Jalen Waddle, you've got to draft him in round 2. And I'm not paying that price. Not off speculation that Hill drops off. I think Hill could still be the number 1 wide receiver this year. Long term, sure. Long term, I'm doubting Hill more than that. Like, I'm not liking Hill a ton after this year at the cost of entry, and maybe that entry will change and I'll like him again. Look at Derrick Henry. I didn't like Derrick Henry's cost of entry last year. I love his cost of entry this year. Risk is all freaking baked into the situation at this point. It's all baked in. But in terms of Waddle, it's not. Waddle's going in round 2. As much as I like Waddle, I can't draft him there. As much as I like Nico Collins, I can't take Nico in the top 25 overall. As much as I like Malik Neighbors, he's going to be an absolute star. He has no business being in the top 25 overall, and that's where his ADP lies. Cost of entry is what it's about. I'll see you all at 8 p.m. Eastern. I appreciate you.
Matrix activated.
The Matrix is drafting chase, Lamb or Hill in round 1. A chain and Kyren specifically in rounds 2 and 3.
Yes.
Then Mahomes or Hurts. And of course Allen if he fell in round 4. In round 5, McBride or Kincaid.
The Matrix, the best draft strategy in the entire Milky Way galaxy.
Unload the Matrix upon your league.
Game over.
See y'all at 8 p.m. Deuces.